My experience was April 1st, 2008, while I was in the United States Air Force. They found me in my dorm room, passed out on the floor, and they couldn't figure out why. So they transported me to the Langley Air Force Base hospital in Virginia. And after running a couple of tests, they said they'd be right back, and they were going to run a few more tests. And that's when my near-death experience started. To summarize it very shortly, I had an air embolism. Air traveled up my vein directly to my heart and stopped my heart. And I remember everything. I remember the facial expressions on the nurses and doctors, the confusion, and I also remember the beautiful experience I had as I traveled up through the most incredible tunnel and had just the most beautiful experience that that words just don't summarize for myself. No pain was greater than coming back to my body, and it was a lot of mental pain because I didn't know what to do after my experience. I woke up the following day, so I woke up April 2nd in a different hospital, and I was obviously very confused. You know, I died, came back, and that was at the time I felt like it was a burden because I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to share it with, because obviously there's such a huge fear of saying anything that would be considered not normal by military standards, and then you get kicked out. And it had been my lifelong, probably since maybe 6th or 7th grade, to join the military and retire after 20 years and be, you know, a living Captain America, if you will. So there was just so much embarrassment, and you know, really, it's so hard. I just got back last week with veterans from the Wounded Warrior Project. It was a retreat for PTSD, and we were taking a van ride, and one of them said that they couldn't share that they had a high ankle sprain, essentially, because of fear of getting kicked out. And that really made me think of, if you are afraid to share that you have a high ankle sprain and you're going to get kicked out of the military, imagine how military people feel or veterans feel when they go through such a spiritual, profound experience. They know in the back of their minds that if they share any part of that, there's such a big fear of being booted from the military. And for so many military personnel and veterans, it's our life, you know, it's our calling. And so it's terrifying. And luckily I found IANDS just after my first retreat with the Wounded Warrior Project. I came back and felt so refreshed. And I learned about the beach ball method. And if you try to hold a beach ball under the water, you can be the strongest person in the world, or you could just be a young kid, but you can only hold that beach ball under the water for so long before it comes flying up into the air. And that was my experience with my near-death experience. Was I had tried to hold that down for so long out of fear of rejection and fear of judgment. And after my retreat, that beach ball came flying up in the air. And luckily, Diane and Lilia were there to catch that beach ball for me. And it's been such a beautiful year since then. You know, I would say it would have been great 12 years ago to have found IANDS, you know, and found a community. But I feel like for me, it happened all for a reason. And keeping that beach ball underwater is going to help me help other people. But for those of you that have not had the near-death experience, that are in the medical field or just supporters of the military, all it takes is for somebody to believe you. If you just say, you know, I can't believe you went through that experience. That's beautiful. I believe you, and here's where you can go to get more support. That would have changed my life. And I hope, you know, with all of us here being, you know, believers and supporters, that is the main goal, is just to be there for somebody that goes through this experience, and to make it so much easier for people to share how they feel and what they went through.